Hi, good afternoon. Thank God it's weekend, and I'm glad you've joined me for another edition of Cyber Literate Sessions. Today I will be talking about something very, very important. I consider this one of the most trending aspect of cybercrime, and it's called phishing. So what is phishing, and how do you know when you are being fished? I mean fished, not the fish that you understand. So phishing is actually an act of cyber attack where the attacker poses to be the legitimate source of a message to make you believe that the message is coming from that legitimate source in order to lure you into giving sensitive confidential data or clicking links rather, an attachment in order to steal data from your organization or from your personal social media account. So how do you know when a message is actually coming from a cyber attacker and not from the legitimate source that this attacker poses to be the source of the email or message, or it can even be a message from a social media handles. So there are key things that once you look out critically in a message, you will be able to discover that such messages are not coming from those legitimate sources. For instance, I will be using email as a major example for this particular session. I know you've received emails from attackers that poses to be from either your bank, from a social media platform, or it can even be an SMS from someone that you feel you know, not knowing the attackers are hiding behind such kind of platforms to get sensitive data from you. So for emails, for instance, a few days ago I received an email from supposed Instagram that told me my account was going to be shut down if I don't take certain precautionary measures to prevent them from shutting down my Instagram account. And after critically looking at the message that I thought it was from Instagram, I discovered phishers, cyber attackers were behind such message, which I've shared on my social media handles this morning. So how then do you identify if messages like the one you've seen on my wall actually came from Instagram or it's a phish email? So the first thing you need to understand is most times cyber attackers uses this platform because it's very much easier for you to be convinced once you see that such messages are coming from a known organization, Instagram for instance. And it's convincing when you see that such messages are directed directly to you as an individual. You feel, yes, these people have my social media, my Instagram data. That is why they can actually reach out to me directly. But such messages are not actually coming from Instagram or Facebook, most times, or Twitter. You discover they use some of these popular mediums that will convince you that they are coming from legitimate sources. So for you to identify whether messages are coming from the real sources or cyber attackers are hiding behind such sources in order to get access to your confidential data, you look out for the following things. First of all, you will discover that such messages are directed to the general public. For instance, they will say hi all, or they can just say hi. They will use generic greetings or generic salutation. So once you see a message that is generally targeted at a general public, like the salutations are not individualistic, like they are not targeting it. They don't say hi Ruth, they don't say hi Sunday Ruth, but they direct such message to all, meaning it's been sent to a multiple receivers. So such messages should be suspected. You need to check such messages again and again to be sure that those messages are actually coming from the real sources. Another thing you should look out for is most phishing emails have grammatical errors. Though cyber attackers has actually been using modern ways of making sure that they don't make a very much generic grammatical errors in most of their messages. But even at that, if you read carefully, you will discover that most phishing emails have grammatical errors. So if a message is coming from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or your bank, for instance, there are certain errors that you know to some large extent should be avoided. But when you see them a lot in emails, you should suspect such emails. Another thing apart from grammatical errors is spelling errors. For instance, they want to spell a first bank and then they are spelling something else. So if messages have a quite number of errors, you should be able to question the source of such emails. And most times phishing emails are very short. They just hit you directly and then they leave you to take a decision. For instance, they will just tell you that we've actually suspected an illegal login in your Facebook account. Take the necessary steps to secure your account. Bam, they are gone. So they are mostly very short and then they leave you with the option to take an action. And most times such messages prompt you to take an action. So most phishing emails are those emails that they will give you a solution. They will make you understand that you have a challenge, they have a solution to it, and then they offer the solution. And most of those solutions are in links, attachment, and behind such attachments there are a lot of malwares, malicious softwares that are attached to such attachment and then links. So another thing you should also look out for if you want to determine whether emails are phishing emails is you need to look at the source of the email. If an attacker sent you an email and then that email is actually from Instagram, you should be able to know whether it's coming from Instagram from the source of the email. So what you just need to do is to go to Instagram and check details of their customers base. For instance, if you want to ask a questions, which kind of email do you supposed to contact? If there's anything that has to do with you getting inquiries, what kind of email are you supposed to expect from Instagram? And then what email have you received? What is the source of the email you've received that pretended they were actually from Instagram? So if you do your research, if you do your background check on the source of the email, you should be able to know whether that email is legitimately coming from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, First Bank or not. So that's another way that can actually help you know whether emails you receive on a daily basis are phishing emails or not. So another thing you need to also look out for is most times phishing emails, if they are actually coming from the organization you're working with, you will discover that they normally make use of people you know. They make use of maybe your boss or they make use of your colleagues. So what you need to do is to quickly reach out to your colleague to be sure if your colleague actually sent you an email or not. So if you do some of these things I've mentioned, trust me, you will be safe online, or you won't be a victim of a phishing cyber attack. And the last thing I want to talk about is what steps should you take if you get a phishing mail. Number one thing is, it's a general rule in cybersecurity that you don't click links or download attachment you do not know where the source is. If you are not sure of the source of an email, any link attached to it or any attachment attached to it, do not click until you verify. So verifying is actually a principle that you need to adopt in order to stay safe online. And this is not just applicable to phishing emails. There are times you get messages, SMS, you get messages on your DM on WhatsApp, Facebook. What you need to do is to make sure you verify again and verify before you take action. And another thing you should do when you get this kind of emails too is go to the source and verify. So it still bounces back to verifying. So you don't need to take a prompt action, in as much as some of these phishing emails or phishing messages will prompt you to take an action immediately. What you need to do first is to calm down and ask yourself, am I expecting this from this person? Am I supposed to get a message from First Bank telling me to update? Do First Bank normally send SMS to help you update your account, or you are supposed to go there physically and do your update? So you need to calm down. So why a lot of cyber attackers have succeeded using this method of cyber attack is because they instilled fear in the mind of their victims, and once there is fear, trust me, you will be prompt to take an immediate action. don't take that action, because that is what will expose your confidential data to cyber attack. Thank you for joining my session. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I remain your cyber girl. Bye.